Thanks for tuning in on your Saturday evening. I'm Holly Emery, and we have several updates on three separate shootings that have happened across the state over last night and into this morning. And again, this is very devastating news across the state. So I do want to warn you that we have 8 people who are dead in 3 separate shootings, and several others have been injured because of shootings. And we're going to start things off in Rolling Fork and Heidelberg. But however, the deadliest of them all was happening in Leland. That's in the Delta north of Rolling Fork, as you can see. And we are going to begin in Leland. That's, again, the deadliest shooting, which left 6 people dead. 3 on your sides, Teddy Reedy takes you to Washington County with more on this developing story. Take a look.
The Washington County Coroner's Office confirmed that in total, 16 people were shot. A dozen were taken to hospitals to be treated for their injuries. 4 people were found dead on the scene early Saturday morning. Those victims have been identified as 41-year-old Oshima Johnson, 19-year-old Calvin Plant, 25-year-old Shabona Powell, and 18-year-old Caitlin Johnson. By 11:50 Saturday morning, 2 others died from their injuries, 18-year-old Amos Bratley Jr. and 34-year-old Jamichael Jones. Mayor of Leland, John Lee, says his heart is broken after hearing of the tragedy in his town and is calling on his residents to speak up and help catch those responsible.
I'd like to say that those of you out there that saw what went on, this is not a time to keep your mouth closed. It's a time you open your mouth. You can save a lot of lives if you open your mouth and tell us what you have seen. And I want to say that it's prayer time in the city for the families. I also want to say it's revival time, not only in Leland, Mississippi, but all over the country.
The mass shooting that shook the small town of Leland is being investigated on all fronts. The FBI, NBI, ATF, along with multiple local and state law enforcement agencies, are assisting on the investigation. Officials say they don't have any suspects in custody in connection with this shooting, and they say if you have any tips that may lead to an arrest, you are urged to call 378-TIPS. From Leland, Teddy Reedy, 3 on your side.
Now, again, that is being considered a mass shooting. Again, that is in Leland. That's north of Rolling Fork. That's high up in the Delta area. Now, as I mentioned, we have 2 other shootings that happened on Friday night in or around a high school. Now, we're continuing in Rolling Fork, and that is at South Delta High School. Now, according to the sheriff, we just got this update just a little bit ago. Stand by here. There we go. So, according to the sheriff, that's Herbert Caesar. He's the sheriff of the sheriff of Sharkey County. The gunshots were heard at the beginning of the 4th quarter of their football game outside of the stadium. Now, deputies responded to the scene, discovered the victim, and he's been identified as Quindale Wise with 2 gunshot wounds, and he was laying on the ground. Now, later, the sheriff's office received a call stating that the suspects involved in the shooting were traveling north on Highway 61 in a gray Honda vehicle. Now, Caesar said Wise was transported to the hospital, and it was a nearby hospital, and he is in stable condition. So he did not die because of those 2 gunshot wounds. Now, officers with the Hollandale Police Department who had been advised about the suspects in the vehicle on that Highway 61, they were able to locate the vehicle and they went on a chase. On Saturday morning, those 2 suspects were arrested. The suspects have been identified as Justin Pam and Michael Miles Jr. Again, they are in custody now. So there is, according to the sheriff, there is no threat at this time to that shooting. And again, we had another, I apologize, was showing you the wrong graphic. Again, we have a lot of different shootings that have been happening throughout the state. So that was in Sharkey County. And we have one down near Hattiesburg, about an hour north of Hattiesburg in Heidelberg. It was at a football game as well at their homecoming football game last night, leaving 2 people dead and at least 1 other injured. The Jasper County Sheriff's Department says 18-year-old Tyler Jared Goodlow is now in custody and is a person of interest for those crimes. He was taken into custody without incident just south of Bay Springs. The police have not identified the shooting victims at this time. And of course, Governor Tate Reeves responding to all of this via social media, saying Our state is praying for the victims and their families, as well as the entire Heidelberg and Leland communities. Those responsible will be brought to justice. And of course, we have been reaching out to local law enforcement. Again, I mentioned earlier, Teddy Reedy, he's up in Leland trying to get all the details and is speaking with eyewitnesses. So tuning in tonight at 10 would be a great idea to get the very latest, because this is an ever-changing situation, and we are trying to get the very latest details for you and updating you both online and on air and on this WLBT Plus as well. A lot of moving parts that are going on, and we're just trying to make sure that you stay informed and that people stay safe, because again, some suspects have not been arrested and some have. So just kind of to reiterate, and Anae's here with me, and we've been talking about it, just devastating news with 8 people killed in 3 separate shootings that happened either Friday night or into Saturday morning. And it's just absolutely devastating that all across the state we're dealing with this today. And we were talking about it earlier as well. It's a little difficult for us to be like, all right, Anae, you got to talk about weather now when we've got this much going on. But for those of us who, I guess, are safe at home, who are able to tune into WLBT, Anae does have an update on the weather situation. It's been feeling very nice, I guess, the last couple of days. That's why people have been out.
Yeah, we've had pretty much a crisp fall evening in store. We had very calm weather throughout the day. If we look at our First Alert Skycam network, you can see various sunsets across the area. A little bit of cloud cover, but that's pretty much all that we've been tracking throughout the day so far. Mostly clear skies, and certainly calm weather is going to continue through the rest of our weekend, just like it has throughout the day. We can see that on our First Alert radar, that not only is it the central Mississippi region seeing this calm weather, but actually much of the southeastern United States, the East Coast seeing a low pressure system off the coastal Carolinas. They have heavy showers and storms over there, but pretty much further towards the west, we have high pressure building in, calm weather that's going to last throughout much of the upcoming week as well. Temperatures cooling off. It's going to be rather comfortable this evening, low 70s right now, even upper 60s in Macomb. In fact, waking up tomorrow morning, I think a few spots may even need to have a jacket on hand. We're going to be in those low to mid 50s. Very similar to today. Waking up, a few spots we're at 52 or 50 degrees. Likely going to see some of that as well heading into tomorrow morning. But the afternoon high temperature will be pretty comfortable, pretty close to what we were today. We reached 84 in Jackson for this afternoon. We expect to be around 85 tomorrow. But notice the trajectory of those temperatures. They're going to climb into next week. In fact, we could even see low 90s for a couple of days possible.
Boom.
So yeah, unfortunately, the summer weather is back. We've had a really nice taste of fall, but it's going to get pretty hot, but at least we're going to stay dry. So if you have enjoyed seeing the sunshine, that is going to continue. We look at our next weather makers, not really expected until the upcoming weekend. Dry weather is going to last throughout the week. Hardly any cloud cover, very similar to what we have this weekend.
Okay.
That high pressure is going to last for several days.
Okay.
We're going to keep seeing all that sunshine. But
There
Friday
it is.
evening into the weekend, that's when it looks like we're going to get our next system, bring some cloud cover, some rainfall.
Yeah.
It doesn't look widespread at the moment, or at least not on previous model runs. It seems like they're trending a little bit wetter as we go throughout the evening. So that would be good news. We need rain.
I mean, it helps the drought conditions. I know a lot of people, when it gets cooler, I'm going to raise my hand. I'm the person that lights a fire the second it gets below 70 degrees.
You're right.
But so that's going to help us a little bit if you have those fall plans going into November, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? I've been craving s'mores too.
So are you coming over to my house and we're going to make s'mores?
If I'm invited, that would be fun.
Okay,
That
Anae's
would be
invited.
very fun.
This is on public record for social media.
We should actually, yes, we should do a little news gathering.
Oh my gosh.
That would be
maybe
fun.
we'll make s'mores on this WLBT Plus.
Get the weather team, get some reporters. Yes, that would be a perfect thing to do. We do have, so the fire weather risk, thankfully low end,
Okay.
but it's mostly eastern Mississippi.
Mhm.
Near where we have some areas where it's dry enough that you have to kind of be mindful of
Like
that.
towards Meridian, or are we
Towards
talking
the Meridian, Hattiesburg area.
Okay.
Not necessarily in the WLBT DMA,
Okay.
but just outside of it
Okay.
is where we're looking at a light risk. That's something to keep in mind. But our First Alert 10-day forecast, still, we're seeing fairly dry conditions. So it's still important to be mindful. Of course, we have some areas in central Mississippi that still definitely have had drier than usual conditions throughout the year. And we don't really expect showers and storms once again until towards the weekend. That's when our temperatures will finally be back in those mid to low 80s as well. Before that, it's going to be pretty warm heading into our upcoming work week.
I'm very excited, but you know that I did leave. I was out of the country, so some of you might have been wondering where I have been. I've been out of the country for about a week and a half, and I've been asking Anae when's the fall weather coming, and it was here while I was gone.
Yeah,
and now we're back in the 90s. Now that I'm here,
it's so now we know what the problem is.
it's me. I am the
It's
problem.
Holly.
I'm the problem.
Holly's bringing the temperatures in the 90s. So go plan another vacation.
I would love to.
Yeah, you get to go back to Europe. We get to have temperatures in the low 80s. Yeah,
absolutely. I like that. Now, before we do tune off again, we just want to reiterate that, thoughts and prayers from WLBT itself, from Anae and I specifically, but WLBT, thoughts and prayers are with the families and all the communities in Leland and Heidelberg and in Rolling Fork on these shootings. And I am looking at the comments here as well, Anae, that 7 cars on fire at Jackson State Homecoming. We are aware. We are sending crews out there, and it is all hands on deck this weekend. So we are going to continue to keep you updated on all of these things that are happening throughout the state. And you can tune in at 10 o'clock for, again, those updates on that, as well as another update from Anae on the weather.
And there will be digital updates before the news. Our next newscast is at 10. But with the story, we have a reporter that's heading to the fire.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have the website being updated as well. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. Again, been out of the loop a little bit, so I'm forgetting what to say on here. But yes, we're going to update you on digital. We're going to update you on air. So just make sure you're staying tuned to everything that's going on social media. And we'll try and keep you all as safe as possible and updated as possible as we try to gather more information again on the shooting, as well as what's going over there at Jackson State. But again, stay safe. You have great weather the rest of the week and the rest of the weekend.
Great-ish.
A
little bit too hot.
I'm gonna say it's good because it's not thunderstorms and we're not in tornadoes yet.
You're right.
We gotta look at the bright side.
Fair.
But again, stay safe and have a great rest of your Saturday weekend. All right. Bye-bye.